we've over congested ourselves over the years, and we actually need to, decongest in order to get that circulation back to all the areas of the body, and most specifically to our sexual organs, because that is where kind of our powerhouse resides within our sexual organs, especially for men. Not to go on, but there's a as a man looking at this product, something I'm looking at is it's not just like for libido. Obviously, that's an incredible benefit, but I'm actually looking at more of the hormonal production and the androgenic production of more of the anabolic longevity growth hormones, specifically like testosterone. And in our culture, there's a massive decrease, like faster and faster, of testosterone in men, and that's really one of our power grids, if you will. They've done tons of studies on the most successful people in the world, and one correlation they all have is that they all have high levels of testosterone.
Yes. Yeah, that's very interesting that you say that. I've studied that as well. And women need testosterone too.
Yes, right.
So women have this, false sense that, oh, I can't have testosterone because it's going to turn me into a man, and that's absolutely not true. In fact, 100% of our sex drive comes from testosterone. So it explains why when right after you have a baby and certain times of the month, your libido goes down as a woman, because your testosterone levels are diminished sometimes entirely. And it's normal to have fluctuations, but to be consistently down is a problem, a big problem. And, of course, our levels aren't going to be as high as men, but we all have to have a certain amount of testosterone, and it seems like we're so estrogen high now with the plastics and the pollution and everything else, birth control pills, that it's just really affecting it as a whole.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I was going to bring up the whole estrogen and estrogen dominance issue, and that's a big area of focus for me as a nutritionist, and I see it more and more, especially in people that are overweight. There's definitely a huge correlation with estrogen dominance, and I think it's affecting people's desire, like you mentioned. And I think the desire for sexual activity is a byproduct of your desire for living your life, living life to the fullest. Like when you're androgens are high, then your attitude is going to be high. Your love for life is going to be high. You're going to want to go tackle the day. But I'm seeing people kind of like their motivation is decreasing. Attitude is kind of lowering. And I really think what your product is offering people is to help them modulate that and to increase that.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly. You're exactly right. And people just have this apathy for life now. They're just like, oh, I got to go to my 9 to 5, and let me go to Starbucks and have 15 shots of espresso, and let me take a pill and a 5-minute energy and all this stuff. And, they're just struggling to feel good. And if they understood that, if they just, and listen, my product Hot Rawks helps. But listen, this is just scratching the surface. There's so many things people can do as far as the green juicing and the you and I spoke yesterday about like barefoot running and all these kinds of things that people can incorporate. But coming right out of the door running with a mainstream audience saying, hey, run barefoot and take this and take that. People get, like you said, they get really freaked out and they put up a wall and think you're a weird hippie. And like, so you have to kind of listen. We can't preach to the choir, because you and I and probably most of your listeners understand it. We get it. That's why they're listening. We have made these lifestyle changes, and we're all kind of on our own same little soapbox and slapping each other high five, and that's all great and dandy. But what are we doing to help people that aren't here yet?
Right.
And my thing is, people kind of, when I first came out of the box with this product, Hot Rawks, I had a few people, not a lot, but a few in the really hardcore vegan raw food world look down a little bit on the way I was marketing it, because they were like, hey, you're too mainstream, and you're too, why are you going on Playboy Radio?
Right,
Why
you need to be underground.
Yeah, and like Howard Stern and all this stuff. And I'm thinking, you know, this is exactly where I need to be marketing my product because you already take it, you know. So that's really been my focus, and I'm proud to say that a lot of people, like you said, they start taking it. I mean, I had a truck driver, for instance, who heard me on Sirius Radio, and was overweight. He was a smoker, eating fast food 3 times a day, drinking Red Bull just to stay awake because he's driving a truck at night and he's exhausted and overweight, and I think he even said he was diabetic, actually. And he ordered Hot Rawks because he heard me on Playboy. And a couple months later, I got a testimonial from him. He actually wrote me a really lengthy email thanking me. He said if he could talk to me, he would be in tears. Because he started trying Hot Rawks, and it made him feel better and more focused and energized, and of course the sex drive. He started doing other things in his life because he saw the power of superfoods. Mm-hmm. And he started cutting out the fast food and started eating more vegan and healthy and organic. The guy is growing goji berries in his backyard now. He's lost 45 pounds. And so, you know, listen, these people, they need to hear the message too. We just have to speak their language.